Sony just got done with their state of play today. I forgot it was happening, but I just got home and it started and I began watching it, recording some footage, taking some notes to share my thoughts with you guys. As to be honest, like, I don't know, these consoles just haven't been feeling the same for me, like PlayStation, Xbox, it just doesn't seem like back in the day. I guess it happens, right? And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people out there who just straight up hated this state of play. And just to be upfront with you, I didn't hate it. I did not hate it. But I know there's going to be there's always people who hate and then people who don't hate. I didn't hate. Were there things that I didn't care for? Sure, that's just the way it goes. But there's 14 games, I believe, that they showcased during this state of play. And I want to show a clip of each and kind of comment on what I thought as I was taking notes, right? So the first game they showcased was Concord, which I wasn't familiar with, but it looked like a budget-ass Guardians of the Galaxy like copy, like pick and save version of Guardians of the Galaxy. They showed a big, long, like movie clip type of thing, and that was the vibe I was getting. I was like, whatever. It looks like it's going to be a pass. I didn't even know what kind of game it was, but then when they finally showed some gameplay, it looks like Overwatch. Okay, they said each week there's going to be like new story videos and all that kind of stuff to kind of introduce you to characters and the world building and stuff like that. Maybe it'll be for you, but it did not tickle it for me. So they have a beta coming out in July, and then the game launches August 23rd. Next up, just real quick, God of War Ragnarok for PC. We knew that was coming. Comes out September 19th, 2024. Unlocked FPS, a lot of other features and stuff like that. So I liked the game for the most part. Very beautiful looking game, but there were certain things I didn't like about it. I like the old school God of War games, 1, 2, and 3. These newer ones kind of didn't hit it for me quite as well, but they still look great. They're great games. Like, not really complaining there, but not really a new one. The next one, holy crap, that popped up the second I started seeing it. I didn't even have any inkling of what it was ahead of time or seen anything mentioned of this game. Most of these games I don't know anything about beforehand. But I was like, this game looks like PlayStation to me. Oh my God, Dynasty Warriors Origins. It looked badass. And like I said, it's what I think of when I think PlayStation in its prime. Is games like that. And there were a few others that came up during this presentation that I was like, this does feel a bit more like PlayStation than it has been for a while, right? So Dynasty Warriors Origins, unnamed hero, it looked pretty badass. Comes out next year sometime. It is what it is. The next one, it may not be for me, but it looked intriguing. And it's another one that kind of makes me feel like early 2000s, games taking risks, being a little different, kind of having that PlayStation feel to them almost. A game called Infinity Nikki comes out Q3 of this year. I couldn't quite get the grasp of what was going on, but it had some good looking graphics, but it was like these princess type characters. I don't know, taking pictures, kind of like Pokemon Snap, but then it looked like there's action, like fighting elements, platforming, maybe some puzzles. My first note was like, this game kind of looks a little Genshin Impact like, but not exactly. After I started seeing more of it, there's like a cat running around. I don't know if you get to play as a cat, look like it, but yeah, good looking graphics, interesting looking game. The next one, Ballad of Antara. I was like, this Bran Stark looking mofo, little kid on some dude's back, Hodor looking motherfucker. But he wasn't no big dude. He was just, I don't know. My first thought, like, the heck is this? Carrying some kid around? It looked interesting. But, there was other characters you got to play as, but they didn't show too much. Some of these games they just kind of teased and didn't really show a lot, but it looked kind of interesting. Ballad of Antara doesn't come out till 2025 sometime. Next one, they did start showing. I think they only showed 2 PSVR2 games. So they showed Behemoth. Kind of looking a little Elder Scrolls-like at first. I guess you're fighting behemoths and other enemies, like gigantic-looking dudes. But as I started seeing them in this trailer, I was like, they don't, they're goofy-looking, but, they don't look as good or as unique or interesting as, the bosses in Shadow of the Colossus. unfortunately. That's what I mean, I wish, obviously it can't happen. The studio's gone, but you know, Shadow of the Colossus was a masterpiece. And I was getting a little bit of that vibe, but then it rubbed off the longer the trailer went on. I was like, you know, still not seeing a PSVR 2 seller. And I have a PSVR 2. It's fun, but you know, No Man's Sky is about all I play. Gran Turismo, that's about it. Next one, which they barely showed anything and could have been like really big, but was another PSVR 2 game, Alien Rogue Incursion. So just a little teaser, didn't show too much. It was a little choppy, to be honest with you. It's one I'm looking forward to seeing more. But it says coming holiday 2024. So, I mean, we got, what, 6-7 months left in this year? Show us some more, right? The next one was a new Marvel game. I know I'd seen this teased somewhere else. So I'm sure not every single game here is going to be exclusive to Sony. But I'm not 100% on this one. But I know I saw mention of it, or a little clip of it before, but Marvel Rivals. It's a new Marvel game from NetEase. And I was like, okay, you know, it looks like Overwatch. Let's just be straight. Overwatch with Marvel characters. The destructible environments, like the buildings and stuff, did kind of look cool, but not really my style. Too many games like this. I don't know, but July 2024, they're going to have a closed beta available. So then at this point, I'm like, I put a note in my notes that these games are starting to look like each other and other games. Like, they're hard to differentiate some of these, right? The next one they showed was Where Winds Meet, and it says it's in development for PS5. The cinematic looked kind of neat, but they just didn't show enough. So it's like, yeah, little teasers. I guess that's fine, you know? I'll forget about it after this video, and maybe if they show something bigger later on, maybe it'll pique my interest. But I don't know, some of these games, they do kind of just bleed into one another, and there's not a lot that differentiates them, right? It's just the way it goes. The next one, my notes were, because I didn't know what it was at first, I'm like, a camping horror game, kind of looking a little bit like a Shudder original movie. Is there monsters in this game? Is it other humans going after you? I couldn't tell. But then, boom, it's an Until Dawn game coming out in fall of 2024. Maybe just time for Halloween. Look kind of interesting, though. The next one, which I'm not familiar with this series. I've heard of it and never played it, but Path of Exile 2. So if my comparison by just saying this offends anybody, I don't think it should, but it looked like a Diablo clone. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just not familiar with the series, but did seem like it had some cool stuff going on. Some environments did look a little bland, but it does say they have couch co-op, which is cool. Crossplay and progression, so that's cool as well. It's something I may be interested in. It tickled it enough for me where I may be interested. Early access is going to be late 2024. The next one, as soon as they started showing, I was just like, ooh, Silent Hill? Graphics, they did look a little plasticky on like the character models, their skin and whatnot. But as it's, you know, a couple more seconds in, I was like, yeah, this is Silent Hill. So Silent Hill 2, little remaster, remake, whatever you want to call it, it's coming out October 8th, 2024, day before my birthday. I may have to pick this one up. So next up was Capcom's Monster Hunter Wilds. So a little bit of a gameplay trailer. Looked kind of intense, you know, as most Monster Hunter games do with the big bosses. But they didn't show a lot. I mean, there was a lot of desert environments. Not much in the way of enemies being shown. They showed a handful of different enemies. It looks, you know, it's Monster Hunter. It may be good. Either you like Monster Hunter or you don't. I don't know what to tell you. I like Monster Hunter. I most likely will be checking this one out. Next up, which may be one of the biggest reveals here, and I think this one was already leaked or talked about recently, is the new Astrobot game. Comes out September 6, 2024. It starts out little Astrobot flying around on a DualSense controller. There's a lot of variety in the environments. At one point, he was fighting like a Mr. Potato Head sumo wrestler looking dude. And then I was like, ooh, like these are just all based off my notes. I was like, ooh, Parappa the Rapper costume, right? There's different characters from different PlayStation franchises as costumes for the little Astrobot, which is kind of neat. A very cutesy look to it, you know, almost Little Big Planet type of look with the characters and stuff like that. My other note, I know some people are going to hate me for saying it, but I was like, this looks like a wannabe Mario Odyssey. But, you got to wait for the but, man. There's some cool, definitely some cool enemy and boss designs. Lots of PlayStation references. It does look kind of Nintendo, though, but it also may be kind of cool. This is stuff that PlayStation needs. When I saw it, before I even saw Parappa the Rapper costume, I was like, when I saw the, what was the game that I first was like, holy crap, Dynasty Warriors Origins. I was like, this feels PlayStation. When I saw that, I started thinking about Parappa the Rapper. I was like, this, what would top all this? Bring back Parappa the Rapper, right? Well, he's a costume, I guess. But yeah, I mean, maybe about half of these games intrigued me. It did feel more PlayStation than it normally does, if you know what I mean by that. But there's my, you know, what grade would I give them here? I would give them a B. Just a straight up B. You know, if you're going by a elementary school grading system, I would give them a B. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I'm not mad at them here. There's some interesting stuff, but I'd like to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? Thanks for watching. Bye.